Hey everyone, I hope everyone's doing really great. My family's starting to get our kiddos back into school, which we're super excited about. A couple years ago, one of my daughters was diagnosed with dyslexia, and hitting a few roadblocks in the public school system, we decided to branch out and kind of look at other schooling opportunities, and that's when we found the private school she's at now that caters specifically to learning differences, and it really has changed her life. It brought her confidence back. And I really can't thank these guys enough for just helping her and teaching us about dyslexia. And I'm really excited to be able to help them on a few projects up at the school. The director is going to be getting a new office, and we're also going to be doing a new conference room for all the teachers. And they've asked me to kind of put my spin on it, which I'm super excited about. So one of the things that I looked at was her existing furniture. With wood prices so high, I thought, you know what, we can take this and turn it into something beautiful. So that's what I'm going to show you guys today. I'm taking her kind of outdated corner desk and turning it into a really cute desk for her to work at. So let's get to work. All right, so my first step in this desk is going to be to build the desktop, and I'm going to be using 2x6 boards for these. These are 2x6x8. Praise the good Lord, the prices are going down, and I'm going to be able to get my entire desktop with, I believe, 4 boards, which is pretty awesome. So what I'm doing first is I'm going to cut the length before I add my breadboards. This is a Farmhouse desk, so I'm going to add those because I think they're super cute. I'm going to cut these down to 47.5 inches each, so I'm able to get 2 runs with each board, and that's what we're going to do right now. And it's a lovely sweltering 100 degrees outside today. I'm wearing the air. It's wonderful. All right, so I've got my 6 boards cut for the planks, and now I'm gonna also cut down my breadboards. Now, all of these boards I'm gonna be running through my table saw to rip them down because that's what we do. But I'm cutting them now shorter just because it makes it easier to get them through the table saw and a lot less heavy. So I'm also gonna cut these breadboards. Now the breadboards are gonna be 30 inches. I'm actually gonna cut them just a bit longer. That way I can get a precise measurement when I get just that. Trust me, I'm gonna go a little bit bigger. It's the right thing to do. All right, so I'm gonna cut this guy to 31 instead of 30. That way, once I get everything planked, I can make the exact cut. And that's what I was originally trying to say. Ignore phone beep. It's probably Ashley texting me. All right, now we are ready to take these over to the table saw and get them ripped. I'm going to be ripping my boards down to 5 inches, my planks and also the breadboards. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to set my saw to about 5 1/4, and then once I run all of these through, I'll set it down to 5 and then make one final pass on the opposite side. That'll give us nice straight boards, takes the whole build up a notch, makes it look like we didn't make it out of framing lumber, even though we did. So that's what I'm going to do now. Here we go. And I hate dust. All the things. Ready. Now all of my boards are 5 1/4, so I'm gonna go ahead and set my saw to 5 inches. Okay, so I've got that set to 5 inches. So what I'll do now is flip it. See, you've got your straight edge that I've already cut, and then all my boards have the rough edge. And I'm gonna flip it and run that through on the other side, which will give me a 5-inch square board, no rounded edges. Bam, here we go. Pause for all this. We are ready for pocket holes, and for this I'm going to be using my Craig 720 Pro. Love this thing. It has made my life so much easier. One of my favorite features about it is that it's self-adjusting, so it saves a ton of time, so much more user-friendly, even though the first one was user-friendly, or the other one I was using. So I'm going to be adding 1.5-inch pocket holes on each end, top and bottom, of all my planks, and also down one end of 5 of the 6 boards, and that's how we're gonna plank it all together, just like we do dining tables and everything else. So what I'm doing also, you always wanna make sure you pick the side that you're not gonna see. So in this case, I always have a good side or a bad side, and I'm gonna put the pocket holes on the side that people don't see so that the top can be a beautiful desktop. So I'm using my Ryobi drill to add these. It's the new compact drill. Love it. Perfect for small hands and tight spaces. That sounds like a commercial. You're welcome, Ryobi. Cool. You can see I've got my 2 on top, 2 on bottom. Now I'm gonna flip it horizontally without dropping everything. And I'm setting it in place. I'm gonna make my pocket holes down this one side. Do you see how easy this thing is to adjust? It's amazing. I just love it. All right, got my first board down. Drop that, no worries. Got my first board down, and I've got 5 more to go. Now I'm ready to start planking these tops together. So I've got my pocket holes. These will attach my breadboards here in the next step. And right now I'm just going down each of these planks. So this is a great tip we've done on lots of tables. I've put these on a sawhorse, or if you're building a table base is also great too. And I'm using my Craig face clamp to get those boards nice and flush. Super important step just because it gets everything nice and flush, especially since we're doing a desktop because we want that to be super smooth. And I am attaching everything here with 2.5-inch pocket hole screws and no wood glue for the tabletop, just the screws. So I'm gonna come around here. As I work my way down these planks, I'm moving my face clamp to make sure it stays nice and flush all the way down the boards. Cool. And then I'm attaching with my 2.5-inch pocket hole screws. Hopefully this one is nice to me. Perfect, just like that. So I'm gonna get the rest of this one done and I'll start adding my planks. I am on my last pocket hole screw for the planks. Put that one in there. Awesome. And now what I'm going to do, I have my 6 boards wide, so that gives me my 30 inches. And I have the boards that I've ripped down for my breadboards, and I'm going to go with a pencil and mark exactly where those cuts need to be so that they can be nice and perfectly straight and flush. So I'm just lining this up. I'm actually going to cut both ends. I'm going to mark this side and then this side. Take that over to my miter saw and get it cut. All right, I've got my breadboards cut. So I'm going to attach it the same way using the Craig face clamp. I've got that held in place, and I'm actually going to start right there since I have it clamped up right there and add my first pocket hole screw. Okay, now I'm going to work my way down this way and fill in all of these pocket holes with 2.5-inch pocket hole screws. Both of my breadboards are attached, and at this point I'm going to start building my table base. I'm going to get those legs that I pulled from her previous desk up here and start marking things off to build the apron of the desk as well as the drawers. So I have 4, actually I have 5 because this is a corner desk, 4 identical legs that I pulled off. They're solid wood with the prices of lumber so high, and they're pretty legs. I knew I could definitely reuse them and just give the desk a different look. So what I'm doing is I went ahead and figured out that I want a 1 1/4 inch overhang on each corner. So I'm going to go and mark 1 1/4 on both. And that will give me, that will give me the corner where I will be putting each leg. I'm going to line each one up. So I'm just going to mark all the way around. Actually, if you're using stock legs or anything else, this is just, I shall do it that way. So I'm doing 1 1/4 inch, marking the footprint, and I will repeat that for all 4 legs. I'm going to be using 1x4 pine boards for the apron of this desk. And so after I marked, like I just showed you, I went back and measured in between those to figure out what my cuts need to be. So the back of the desk is going to be 47 inches. I'm going to grab that cut now. Awesome. And then my two sides are both going to be 18 3/4. So I'll go ahead and cut those as well. All right, one more to go. All right, I made my back cut. I've got my two side apron cuts. I've also measured that I want a 22-inch drawer right here. So I made the cuts for each side of this. Now, the drawer frame is going to be hidden, and because the price of wood is crazy high, I'm going to actually be using plywood scraps to cut out the drawer supports as well as the drawer itself. And then I will put the pretty wood on the front. It's actually going to be the same width as the 1x4, 3.5 inches. So I just made the supports for the drawers. You can see these are plywood, scraps, super inexpensive, probably have been sitting here for months. And I've cut them both to 3.5 inches deep. And now I know I'm using 18-inch drawer slides, so I'm going to cut these just a hair longer. I'm actually going to go at 19 and get them ready to start laying everything out on the desk. All right, now let me show you how we're going to lay it all out. Now what I'm doing is I'm just going to kind of lay everything out, kind of just get a visual of where it's all going to go, and that will show me where I need to put my pocket holes. We have our plywood drawer supports, the hidden ones, and those are going to go just behind the front. Same over here. My legs are missing right now, but you can visualize them. So I'm going to want a pocket hole into each leg, or two. So what I'm doing is I'm going and marking right here where I want these pocket holes to go. Also going to want one here. I'm also going to want them up into the desk itself. So I'm going to add a couple right there. Probably 3 here. And we get to the drawer supports. Now that we're going to go into our frame. I'm going to have it be on this side. It really won't matter because it's all hidden anyway. And then we're also going to have these go into the tabletop. And I'm going to do that for every board around here. And my back one, I'm going to have them all the way down. 3, 4, 5. And also one going into each leg. So I'm going to get my crack jig up here. I already got a tabletop to put it on. And we're going to start adding our pocket holes. Now before I make my pocket holes, I do need to adjust my depth collar on the drill bit. So because I'm using 3/4 inch thick wood, I've adjusted it from the 1.5 we did earlier. And the new Craig Jig 720 Pro has the really awesome bits that make things so simple and start making pocket holes. So I'm just going to where I marked them, watch it self-adjust. Amazing, no adjustment necessary, which I love. I'll work my way around, get all this done, and then we'll start attaching some stuff. So I've got the frame all attached. I've got everything pocket holed minus the legs. I'm going to stop right here and I'm actually going to go ahead and install my drawer slides before I build my drawer. While it's upside down, it's going to be a super easy way to get them attached and save me a lot of time. So that's what I'm doing now. These are 18-inch Euro slides. I love these. They're side mount. You can get them at any hardware store. Amazon has great ones as well. Actually, I'll link to Amazon's because they'll be the easiest for y'all to get. But they're great and they're easy to install. So that's what we're going to do next, and then get the drawer built. Yay! Alright, I'm going to show you guys really quickly how I'm doing this. So I've got it lined up flush because I'm actually going to have a drawer face on the front of this. If you are going to have a flush drawer face, you want to make sure you leave enough room for that. So scoot it back if you need to. But mine's going to actually close on the front of the apron. So what I've done is I've just used 2 scraps of plywood. That sets it up. It gets it nice and flat for me. It'll hold it in place. And I'm extending the drawer slide out, which exposes all the little holes that come on it. So then I'm able to get in there. I've already got a screw here, I've got a screw here, and I'll go ahead and add one right here using my drill. Awesome. All right, so I've got that side attached. Just push it back in place, take those out. That side's ready, and I'll move on to my next side. So both drawer slides are attached now. We're moving on to the drawer. So to build this drawer, and I build each one a little bit different depending on what the drawer is going to be used for. How heavy the usage will be. So the base of my drawer is going to be plywood. So this is just a 1/2 inch scrap I had. I've cut it to the width, which is going to be 18 in my case. And, excuse me, the width is going to be 21 in my case, and the depth is 18. So for the frame of the drawer, I'm going to use 1x3. So I've already cut this down, and I've used my 18-volt nail gun to attach my corners. Awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to add a line of glue all the way around, and then place that board on top of it. Make sure it's nice and flush on all sides. And if you have a little overhang, it's fine. You just only want it on one side because the front needs to be straight for the face frame. So now I'm just using my nailer, and I'm working all the way around. All right, now we can set it in place and get those attached to the drawer slide. Just got my drawer in place, so I've got it connected to the slides, and I'm pushed it back into place. Now I'm working on the drawer face, which I've cut to size. It will have an overhang on each side, and I've put glue on it because that's going to be attaching to the front. Now I'm using a little shim because I cut it just a hair shorter so that it clears that desktop, which is right here. So that gives me a shim that way when I close it, I've cleared it and it won't catch on anything. I've got that in place, and then I'm going to add a few nails since I'm going to be painting this, and then I'll come in, open it, and add some screws on the inside. Got a working drawer, upside down drawer, best kind. And before I flip this guy and start working on the finish, I'm actually going to go ahead and attach the legs since they're going to be painted as well. So I'm going to use my pocket hole screws, go into the legs, and get everything finished up. All right, I've got the entire thing finished up, and now I'm ready for the finish, which is really what's going to make this desk stand out and be so cute. So before I get started, I'm going to sand this thing down with my corner cat. I'm going to do a rough grit first to really get it nice and even, and then I'll make it more fine with that 220. So I'm going to get that done, and then we will get to painting and staining. I painted the base using our very favorite Sherwin-Williams Pure White. I was able to combine 2 different stains to get the finish on the top. They're both Varathane. One is Golden Oak and the other is Willow Gray. I love the finish that it adds and the black hardware. Super cute. I'm loving how this turned out. I hope she loves it too. I can't wait to show you it in the space once we get the office finished up. I have a few other projects in there I think you're gonna love. Can't wait to show you. Y'all be sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss it. Happy building. So I ran these through the, shut up, don't say so. Okay, now all of them, nope, just kidding, G. All right, there we go. And I'm working my way all the way down, and then I'll add the next clamp. No, not from 3/4 of an inch back or however deep or depth. Excuse me. All right. Oh, I said all right. I'm so sorry. Okay. I said okay. So sorry. Okay. How do you like start without saying those? Let me think here. All right, guys. So forget I said all right. After I sneeze. Plywood in the nose. And so what I did is I marked off just like we just did. Okay, shut up.